Chapter 2: Teaching Listening to Young Learners. We are going to talk about listening versus hearing, learning channels, listening as a foundation skill for other skills, classroom techniques and activities. Hearing is different from listening. Hearing refers to an actual perception and processing of sound. To be able to listen in class, children need to be able to hear. 18% of children in some countries have hearing loss before they are 19 years of age. Hearing loss can have a profound impact on a child's ability to listen and fully participate in the English language classroom. In a classroom setting, this is much harder to do, but not impossible. Here are indicators teachers can look for to determine if a child might have a hearing problem. Pulls on ears, has frequent ear infections, complain of ringing in the ears. Ask for the CD or tape player to be turned up when the volume seems to be fine for everyone else. Ask for things to be repeated even when said in the child's native language. Has trouble repeating words and phrases. There are many different ways that we can help children with hearing loss. One is place a child who has hearing loss in front of the classroom, so they can see your lips move and is in your direct line of sound. Listening and speaking are oral skills. Listening and reading are receptive skills because the focus is on receiving information from outside source. Children do not need to produce sound when they are listening. Learners can and should be actively engaged in listening tasks and activities. The relationship between listening and speaking is clear because they are both oral skills. By listening, children are preparing to replicate sounds when they speak. Listening comprehension skills can prepare children to develop reading comprehension skills. Being available to follow simple instructions is one of the foundation listening readiness skills that get children ready to develop other language skills. Learning channels are the preferred way that learners receive and process information. Most learners favor one style more than the others. As teachers, we need to be familiar with the three main learning channels, which are auditory, visual, and tactile. Auditory learners are better available to learn material when it's present in an auditory format such as listening to someone reading a story aloud. Visual learners often recall visual image and pictures easily. And tactile learners are better available to remember information, language, and content when they have physically manipulated or touched the information. And they also benefit when they have actually made something with their hands. In order to make the language comprehensible to all learners, we should try to present information using all three learning channels. All learners use a combination of different learning channels, even though they might have a preference for one over the others. Teachers have a tendency to teach to their own preference. So, it is very important that we are aware of our own channel preferences so that we can make more of an effort to teach to children who have different preferences. James J. Asher studied the way that very young children acquire language. Young children are so good at developing language skills. He observes that babies spend the first year of their life just listening to language. Although infants aren't speaking, are still active users of the language because they are physically responding to what they have been said. He developed a method which is known as Total Physical Response, TPR. Learners physically respond to oral commands which are given. Babies learners are expected to respond non-verbally to commands before they are expected to speak. The learners follow along with the commands and only speak when they are ready. When they first begin to speak, they repeat the commands given by the teacher. TPR has several positive aspects. First of all, it utilizes the auditory, visual, and tactile learning channels. Second, TPR helps to teach children to follow directions and listen attentively. These are two important skills for academic success. Third, in keeping with developmentally appropriate notion or thought. And fourth, this method can easily be adapted in many different ways for young learners. There are some things we should consider in a TPR activity. It is important to consider the complexity of language being used as well as the interest level of the children. TPR activities can be also used with songs and finger plays like Incy Wincy Spider, storytelling, especially with stories where sentence patterns are repeated. In order to use all the learning channels, we can tell the story using puppets or telling story pieces. Using yes-no cards, children are asked questions and then respond by showing a yes or no card. Drawing, we might give the following commands: draw a circle, draw two eyes, draw some hair. Syllable clapping, one way to help children learn the way that words are broken into syllables and into separate words is to chant the word while you clap them in syllables. This is useful for tactile learners as well as auditory learners. To make this more accessible to the visual learners, we might want to show pictures of the word being clapped. Rhyming word activities. Words such as fat, bat, cat, hat, and minimal pairs. Children must be aware of similarities and differences in words. Minimal pairs are two words that differ in only one sound, for example, bat and pat. So, in conclusion, listening is different from hearing. There are many different techniques to teach young children to listen. Young children can be actively engaged in the class even without speaking. We must use all the learning channels. And last but not least, we must be patient and trust the process. And for us, it's important to remember that all children are different and we must respect their times. Now I'm going to show you a video of a class that I found that it seems very interesting. This teacher is using all the learning channels.
Rhyming words are?
Same sound at the end.
When words have the same sound at the end, that means that they rhyme. So we're gonna find the words that rhyme with this picture here. We have a picture of hat. Hat. And we have the word hat here. How do we spell hat, Leslie? H-A-T. H-A-T. And the last sound is underlined, A-T. Hat. So we're looking for other words that have at at the end. Now let's look at what we have here. What's this?
Bat.
Rat. This is a rat.
That's a bat. A bat.
Bat. A bat. And what is this?
A house.
Where? What house? School. School. Okay, so let's say them again. We have whale,
Whale.
rat, cat,
Cat.
bat,
School.
school. So we need to find things that rhyme with hat. What is that? Rat, hat. Do they rhyme?
Yes.
They have the same sound at the end?
Yes.
Let's say it together. Rat, hat.
Hat.
Okay, I'm going to put the word rat. See it here? R-A-T. We have rat. Okay. Okay, what did Emily pick?
Bat.
Bat. Let's see if they rhyme. Bat, hat. Do they have the same sound at the end?
Yes.
Yes. B-A-T, bat. Now let's say them together. Ready? Hat, cat, rat, bat. All these words are what kind of words?
Same sound at the end.
And what are those words called?
Rhyming word.
Rhyming words.